Yo, what's going on, my VV OGs, my Omi homies, my fellow master collectors, and everybody else on YouTube? It's your bromie, the Gale, back at it again with another VV update video. Come on. Okay, my friends. So, in this video, we are going to get some much needed clarification on VV tags, FA, FE, CE, etc. The first half of this video is going to be me reading the new Medium article, word for word, and then after that, we are going to go even deeper, get some deeper details straight from Alex in the AMA. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just breeze into it. Collectible edition types. What you need to know. Glossary, path forward, and cleanup plan for edition types on Veve. In this article, we will want to create a foundation to build upon for collectible edition type labeling on Veve and to firmly establish guidelines for designations such as first appearance, first edition, con exclusive, etc. for the collector community. Where we are at. As Veve continues to grow and market activity becomes more robust, having clear-cut definitions for our edition types will help all of our users make the best decisions for them when deciding which collectible to acquire. Admittedly, there have been some inconsistencies in our past designations, but hopefully, in this article, we can clear up some of the most frequently asked questions and offer a plan to clear up any doubt about the meanings of FA versus FE, etc. Defining edition types. What qualifies as a first appearance? How does that differ from a first edition? Is this the first appearance on Veve or the blockchain? First appearance. When a character with a storyline from comics, TV, film, etc., such as Spider-Man, is first introduced to the Veve platform in premium digital collectibles format, it is considered a first appearance, or FA. Note that the first appearances are reserved for characters making their debut on Veve, and not the blockchain in general, even though in most cases, first appearance on the blockchain will be via Veve. First edition. When an object, Rewind Collective logo for example, artist work, serial killers, vehicle, DeLorean time machine, or art-based format, poster, lenticular cards, makes its debut on Veve, it will be considered a first edition, or FE. Note that the first editions are reserved for any objects making their debut on Veve, and not the blockchain in general, even though in most cases, the first edition on the blockchain will be via Veve. Con exclusive. Con exclusives are inclusive of all collectibles dropped as a part of a convention or special event such as Comic Con, Designer Con, etc. There will be prioritization for FA and FE on con exclusive collectibles moving forward. Comics. Comic book character first appearances exist in their own world outside of Veve and do not coincide with the collectible releases. As such, digital comics do not carry edition type designations on Veve. Moving forward. Obviously, there are some things to clean up given the definitions laid out above. So, why isn't Steamboat Willie an FA or FE? And what about the Batmans? The Walt and Mickey partner statue serves as the first appearance of Mickey Mouse on Veve because he is a character and because Disney does not consider Steamboat Willie a different character. Therefore, partners remains the first appearance. Mickey and Friends lenticular interactive cards are labeled FE because they are first edition cards. This means that if a premium digital collectible of Donald Duck, for example, were to drop in the future, he would be an FA. Batman. Oh boy, the Batmans. So, as with any startup, we have been on a steady diet of figure it out as we go. Obviously, a precedent was set early with some of the early Batman and Harley Quinn being labeled FE as artist works. But again, we want to clean all this up so these labels are less confusing moving forward. Don't worry, we will avoid removing altogether any currently labeled first appearances or first editions. This includes the all black and white collectibles, etc. out of respect. Updates to existing collectibles. Below is a look at the proposed adjustments to be rolled out to the existing collectibles. Based on our definitions above, we want to reiterate here that we are not removing tags, only upgrading or moving between FA and FE. The aim is to update all of these as soon as possible. So I don't think I'm going to read all these. You can just pause the screen if you need to. So the DeLorean is moving from FA to FE because it's a vehicle, an object. Same with the Ecto 1. You know, we got the Borg Cube. Avengers logo is going from FA to FE. Captain Carter is going from CE to FA. All of Ron English's Fat Tonys, Frankenfats are going from FA to FE because they're artworks. We got the hoverboards moving from FA to FE because they are means of transportation. Saffin's mask, FA to FE. You know, Jermaine Rogers' specimens, FA to FE. So yeah, like I said, you can pause it if you need to read it again. And with that, let's move on.
That said, it is important to note that the reason why, because it's the first question I always get, and it's clear that people don't read the article because I've already gotten the question 16 times, is why are the Batmans all FE or FA or whatever the case is? Right, so just quick aside, DC initially had been releasing all of their black and white or red, white, and black in the case of Harley Quinn, with artist names attached to the collectibles. So Steve Pugh, Babs Tarr, Rizzo, etc. Right? They have since kind of moved away from that. I can't speculate as to why, but they want to make sure that the focus is on the characters. Now, when we, in early days, we were considering that artist names attached as interpretations or quote unquote artist works, right? So a lot of those got FE tags as a result. That's not really the case moving forward, and it kind of muddied the waters for everything moving forward. So what we're aiming to do with this article is kind of, again, put the stake in the ground, clean everything up, making sure that there's consistencies now, aside from, you know, those early kind of season one mishaps, we'll call them, but you know, still FE is will stay in place, FA will stay in place. We're not removing any tags. We are only kind of moving laterally from FA to FE or FE to FA on certain things. I like to consider FA and FE as twins or siblings. One to the other is not a downgrade or an upgrade. It is just literally a lateral move. It's just more accurate to paint the picture for all of the collectibles that will come on the platform moving forward. So at the bottom of this article, you'll see kind of the proposed list of changes. And really, like, what this has to do with is making sure that we're not considering like vehicles first appearance, and that we're reserving first appearances for characters, you know, characters with storylines. First editions would be for objects, artist works, and vehicles. So Ecto 1, DeLorean Time Machine, Saffin's Mask, first release of posters, things like that. Those will all be kind of first edition as opposed to appearance, because they would never make another appearance.
But Kit, if Kit is released on the platform, that should be an FA. Kit was a person.
Yeah, somebody else already also asked that, and that's hilarious that that's the kind of first question. So I would think it would have to be an FA in the same vein that if we ever released like Lightning McQueen, for instance, right? That's an FA because it's a car, but he's still a character. Kit talks, has a storyline, etc. So that might be the outlier. I mean, I have to put the hard sell on David for that one, but I agree with you. I think Kit would be a character.
90% of the people listening right now don't even know who Kit is.
Yeah, I guess we dated ourselves a little bit there, huh? But yeah, so like for instance, Dragon Girl, right? That's an artist's work. That is a Simone Legno artist's work. So that is not a first appearance because there's no storyline or recurring character appearance for that particular piece anywhere else. So that would be an FE. Ghostbusters logo, that's an object. It's not a first appearance, it's a FE. All the hoverboards, those are kind of vehicles, they're not characters. Those all move to FE. All the artist work stuff for like Jermaine Rogers, a lot of the serial killers, because they're kind of artist work parody of existing characters. they don't have their own storylines. Those move from FA to FE. Honestly, the only one that I would consider maybe like a upgrade, if any, like quote unquote upgrade, is that because like Captain Carter Marvel Mighty was released as part of a Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con week, it got the CE tag when it should have been an FA. So FA will supersede CE con exclusive when necessary. Otherwise, the con exclusive stuff remains con exclusive. Captain Carter is the only one that is being changed or quote unquote upgraded to FA because it is the first appearance of that character, and that is, by all speculation, would be a new and recurring character in the MCU, kind of larger MCU multiverse, what if realm.
Got you. So I'm assuming the Disney lenticular cards are going to stay FE, right? Because those are like hand painted things that are rendered in the digital format, right? And I'm imagining, right? Is that correct?
As you can see, Alex, Prop is one of those people that never reads your articles.
Like I tried to breeze through the article, but listening to what he's saying, I can multitask, bro. Let me work. All right, but I just wanted to touch on this. So like in the future, right? Like because for example, what if the characters on the lenticular cards, it wasn't a lenticular thing, they were actually like kind of like 3-dimensional, but within that 2D space, right? That would that kind of toe the line of like the character being there or opposed to being just drawn perception wise, right?
Yeah, so I think I would imagine this one, if there's controversy to be had in this article, I think that was probably going to be the question mark, right? Mm-hmm. So what we're considering as object, artist's work, or first edition type thing is that these are first edition lenticular cards, or format, I guess we add to that list, format. And that they're kind of depictions of a character in a otherwise, let's see, like a space within a piece of art, right? So like it wasn't a collectible of the character, it was a collectible of a space where the character appears with music in that space, right? Okay. So we were considering that first edition of the lenticular card. Not only that, but it is also an artist's work, which frees that up, or which frees future 3D premium collectibles of any of those characters outside of Mickey to then be FA.
Most people aren't going to read the article, and the biggest question, let's just get it out of the way, and you go through the whole Steamboat Willie thing, because I know that's going to be the biggest problem for everybody, because it looks like there's a market sell-off right now on Steamboat Willie.
I don't understand that whatsoever.
The people just aren't very smart.
Yeah,
didn't they start a petition, like a change.org petition to have Steamboat Willie?
It got like 20 signatures, which is cool. But no, here's look. That was never going to have a tag. There was no world, pre-article, post-article, when that would ever have a tag. I think people assumed that it should have a tag because of how important Steamboat Willie was as a cartoon, right, in the real world. But that still doesn't change the fact that Partners Mickey is the first appearance of Mickey. Now, is it a first edition? No, because it's not an artist's work. It's still a 3D digital collectible. It's not like some kind of artist depiction. It's not like the lenticular card where it was a depiction of that character. It lives entirely in the same realm as the Partners statue outside of color. So therefore, it was never going to get a first edition. It was never going to.
And then how about the stamp? So is the first stamp going to be the only FE? Will the other stamps also get it? So like the Christmas ones are the first edition Christmas stamps.
So wait, what's the question then?
For the stamps, I noticed that the Day of the Dead have the FE tag, but the other ones
but Christmas doesn't?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I would think you guys are going to keep the stamp. I never looked at the Christmas stamps because I didn't hit any on the drop. But
Well, I think we would have to talk to USPS about that.
Yeah.
I think generally because it depends. Like, are we going to get
different holiday stamps?
Yeah, I would imagine we're getting holiday stamps, but I'm not sure we would get like additional Day of the Dead stamps or different Day of the Dead stamps. Maybe. Definitely Lunar New Year, because obviously there's more signs of the zodiac. And maybe they would do a different design for next year or next cycle, I guess, maybe. So that's an interesting question. So yeah, all of these things are going to be, that's why it's a proposed list, so it's not final yet. So it will, there's still room for changes.
You were saying going forward now, there's no character, no statue will ever get, like, let's say you drop a Wolverine, that character will never get an FE tag. It would always be an FA tag.
Right. Unless it was like, unless we did a Wolverine poster.
No, I'm talking about statues like the Batman.
Yeah, it would never be an FE. Yeah.
So
any character with any statue that is its first time on Vivi would be an FA.
Yeah, so the
subsequent Wolverine statues dropped at a later date would not have any designation.
Gotcha. So essentially the first drop, if we went back in time, you would have the FA tags for Rizzo and whatever, Becky and Joe.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I just wanted to clarify that. And then we wouldn't have any tags for the FE Harley Quinn.
Probably not, no.
Gotcha.
No.
I think that might add some value to those Harley Quinns and those Batman statues, just because you ain't never gonna see a statue with an FE tag on it.
Yeah.
Personally.
You never know.
I just wanted to give my thoughts on the Harley Quinn. I think FE makes sense with it because it's a depiction of an artist, so it's a piece of artwork. And it looks like, according to that article, FE is for objects or pieces of art. So I think FE on the Harley Quinns makes sense.
It would make sense if it wasn't also a character, right? So that's the distinction. But we're not. I would have changed it if I thought that it wouldn't cause an uproar. Like, I'm not going to go back and change like some of those legacy pieces because it's too far gone at this point. Ideally, I would have changed everything that was wrong. But yes, your logic is correct in that it is an artist's work, and that's how we were operating. That's how we were treating it initially. But the fact that it's a character supersedes the fact that it's quote unquote done by an artist or an artist's work.
All right, I appreciate that answer.
Yeah.
For you. So in the article here, it says that FA is for Vivi and not the blockchain.
Yes.
Is there a specific reason Vivi couldn't claim that their labeled FA was for the FA blockchain?
It's not that we couldn't claim it. In fact, most of what is going to be FA on Vivi, it's going to just be FA on blockchain anyway. But we are not custodians of the blockchain as a whole, as blockchain as a technology, right? So we can only, speak with utmost certainty that a character is an FA on our own platform, as it is. Depending on your definition of what constitutes a character or like a premium 3D digital collectible, for instance, there was some controversy about DC's fandom free NFT releases through Palm, and that Wonder Woman was depicted as a label on a floppy disk. Now, does that make it, was that FA on the blockchain? Sure, but it was in a format that we have and what we would consider the true FA as a standalone character, premium digital collectible? No. So therefore it's FA on Vivi. But we're not going to dictate what the industry as a whole should attach value to our collectibles being first on blockchain. We know what we control and what licenses we have, and cannot be. Yeah, there may be other incidences. Hopefully not, obviously, where DC or another license or does some kind of side deal for some kind of thing. Like, another example, for instance, Spider-Man NFTs through, what were they done? Through Wax, everybody's favorite Wax, for the movie release, right? They were like trading card type things. Luckily ours were migrated to Ethereum layer 2 before those things were actually released, so there was no real controversy there. But if they weren't, somebody could, in theory, claim that that was the first Spider-Man on the blockchain. Now, that's important to a lot of people, understandably. But again, we are only
like Gary
labeling things. Yeah, yeah. We're only labeling things that we know that we have control over. Yes, Mighties are characters. They're not artist depictions. They're characters first and foremost because they're collectibles. They're just done in a different style than what you would see in a Batman or a Spider-Man or whatever. So yeah, all of those characters carry the proper character designations. So if they are an FA, they will be FA. Which is why we moved Captain Carter from CE to FA. Or we're going to. We haven't done it yet, but we will.
Hi, I was just wondering why the comics don't get a CE tag like Daredevil.
So comics in general do not carry any designations because of they have an entire world of designations unto themselves, physical, in the physical world, the physical comic world. CE, I guess, would be a little different, but because we don't have the support for designations on comics altogether, that we're not adding CE in addition to that, because they're not really, it's a little bit of a misnomer anyway. Let's call it as con exclusive, because those comics obviously had existed elsewhere, and in the world first. I think, I may try to just steer Marvel away from that language moving forward, unless it's has to do with the original covers. But even then, that's gonna be a little bit of a blind spot in that we won't have the designation for it, even if it is a true con exclusive.
Alex, one thing that I've heard a lot of discussions about for a while now, ever since David put out a tweet saying, this is the first VIVi exclusive covers many months ago. And I was always, the thing that I always looked at is, okay, this is really great.
Yeah.
But missing one thing that would make me very interested in it, which was a designation in the app that this was a VIVi exclusive cover, because then it's the average person who didn't see David's tweet coming into the app a week later or whatever would say, oh, okay, this one's unique and special. I can only get this variant cover on the app. But without that distinction on the app, even below it, doesn't even have to be where it says, who owns it or whatever, above the description, VIVi exclusive cover, bam, immediately this thing is going to be and I think this is what you'd want anyways. Again,
yes.
I
For
always,
the record, I totally agree with
potential,
you. Yeah.
Let me just finish one second. The potential for those VIVi exclusive variant covers would be so much better. And David obviously really cares about it. It was really big for the company. The fact that Marvel would let you do it, you've built up this much trust. Why couldn't there be a distinction to lay it in? Because if it's written in the app, to me, that's and published online, that there's so much power to that. With Spider-Man, where it says this is Marvel's first NFT, to me, that it's so powerful to say that. And then with the comic, this is a VIVi exclusive cover variant on, or however you wanted to, write it up with those specific ones. man, that covers so much. That's so much powerful, and it's great marketing for Veve. So I never really understood why. I think David or someone on the team put out a tweet, "Oh, we're not going to do that." I never really understood. Can you just explain a little bit of that logic, please?
I don't know who sent that tweet, but it was never a matter of, oh, we're not going to do that. It is a matter of we don't have that yet. But I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think we definitely need some better metadata structure for those, or at least surface a metadata tag for those exclusive covers, because yes, they are incredible in that they not only are exclusive to us, but it's it's new, fresh art, new interpretations of classic comic characters and pains and stuff that you're not going to really find elsewhere. So if it was said that it was not, then I'm not sure who said it. It might have been said in a vacuum, but I'm working with a product team to kind of get some of those things cleaned up as well. That's kind of my next little side project. Aside from this cleaning up this edition names, I also want to have some better kind of general metadata.
That's going to be
surfacing,
especially because first off, Alex, I think you even coming on and saying all this stuff after publishing the article, like this is very irregular for most companies. Even like the big companies that I work with. And so I think we all appreciate that you took the time to think this over and put out the article and then make sure that the first few sets were protected and all of these things. I think that people, you can't hear everyone talking. They're like listening right now, but I think people in a sense really appreciate this level of effort. And this is new to you and the team too. So there's a little bit, it's not that, this is why I think for this type of business, it's important to have this level of transparency and discussion, because it's such a new thing that we're trying to wrap our heads around all of this stuff. So it's when I make a comment like, it's coming from a place of like love and care, and man, the potential for these is so astronomically great and special. The metadata, like you were saying, man, that there's so much power in that, because no one who joins has historical reference. If I join today,
exactly.
I don't know why this is special. And so the metadata is like, we're Veve, this is special. Pay a little bit more attention to these ones. And then because it's a Veve exclusive cover, then it's like the credibility, like it just adds so much to it. So that's all I have to say.
All good. Yeah. Like I said, I wholeheartedly agree with you for all of the reasons you state. So I definitely want to try to service those. It's why I kind of mentioned the fact that in any of the copy, whether it's Medium or Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, that I'm always calling out those exclusive covers, because I want to make sure people know that they're different and they're exclusive to us. And you're not going to find them anywhere else. So yeah, once we get that into the app, I think that'll be a huge win.
Absolutely. I'm not trying, just so everyone, like, I don't own any of them, so I'm not pumping my bags or anything. It's just
no. I honestly, I just think a lot of times they're cooler. Like for instance, the Monica Rambeau, I bought that UR all day, man. That thing's awesome. The Luke Cage, I bought the UR. So I love some of those even the Green Goblin one or the Doom one. Yeah. A really good artwork, and it's also surfacing a lot of artists that may have not had cover art that's been published on Veve yet. So it gives them a little chance to kind of not only do an interpretation of a classic book, but also have their work now represented in NFT format. A lot of these artists are super stoked on it, and I think that's where Marvel is excelling in getting their artists involved, and will continue to do so.
And that's the video, my friends. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you learned something or enjoyed the content, feel free to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing for more Veve content like this. So, hopefully that was enlightening. Hopefully you got all the information you needed. I think this is a good thing that they are clarifying and making, something like the 10 commandments of FA tags and stuff. It's needed that we have structure and a foundation to further build upon as Veve grows and expands. I know there's going to be some, differences in opinions, but this is needed. I think it's still a rough draft, so to speak. I think they still might be working out a few kinks, but for the most part, I think it's pretty much done. But yeah, we're going to see how it plays out, and shouldn't be that big of a deal. But yeah, with that being said, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say in this video or nothing you hear in this video is financial advice because, it's just not. So I'm just your friendly neighborhood genius as well. And take everything that you hear from me with a grain of salt because things could change. And with that being said, if you would like to follow me in the app, you can look to the bottom left-hand corner where you will see my Ben Simmons Spider-Man, which I have listed for 1 million gems. If you find him, you can find me, and I will follow back. And with that being said, thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Until then, peace out and hodl strong, my friends. Later.